Please welcome Adam Pateman.
All right. I guess, by a round of applause, how many people here are currently in love right now? Oh, okay. Well, good for you. Good for you. That's an awkward question to ask people usually, because it's like, you gotta check with the person you're sitting next to make sure. You're like, hey. Oh. No. Apparently not. Or else it's like, oh, shit. You know, like, I guess so. My friend Ivan was asking me, well, how do you know when you're in love? It's a weird question. And for me, love is like lobster. And hear me out, because, you know, with lobster, just like love, you gotta put work into it. You gotta get your hands in there. You gotta, like, break the shell to get to the meat that's inside there. And there's not a lot of meat that's in there, folks. So you gotta savor every moment. And it's expensive. And when you're done, you're like, that's it? It's never quite enough, you know? And you look around the room and everybody's still eating their lobster and they're so happy, you know? And then sometimes you look on the menu and it'll be like really cheap. You're like, how is this so cheap? And then you get it and you're like, oh, that's right, because this isn't even a lobster. That's right, this is something else. This is just a hand job at the back of a greyhound. And that's not the same thing as love, you know? And some people are allergic to lobster, and they'll go through their whole lives without knowing what lobster tastes like. And maybe they're like smiling on the outside, but you know that they're dead inside. And maybe you're like me, where you'll take one bite of your lobster and you'll eat it and you'll be like, this is amazing. I have never been happier. And then you dip the lobster in the butter, and then the lobster is like, you're smothering me. And then it stops returning your text messages, and then it deletes you on Facebook, and then it calls up its friends in the middle of the night to complain about you while it burns a bunch of pictures of you at a costume party 2 years earlier. And the next thing you know, your lobster is gone. And you're back to square one, you know, lying in your bed late at night with a laptop on your chest, and you got a discarded sock in one hand. And you're eating shrimp, you see? And all your friends are like, don't worry, Adam, there's other crustaceans in the sea. And you're like, you don't understand, this was lobster. I'm not gonna go out and have any kind of seafood. I could get crabs. See what I did there? I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I'm pretty worldly. I've traveled a lot. I went to Japan a couple of years ago, and I highly recommend it. As a North American, go to Japan, because you have to speak Japanese there. You can't really get by with speaking English, but you gotta say Japanese words properly. That's the thing. You gotta say it like, you can't say like sayonara, you gotta say sayonara, right? But I gotta be really careful that I don't accidentally keep saying things properly here, because then I will look like an asshole. Because no one wants to be around that guy who's like, someone asks, hey, do you want to go to karaoke? And you'd be like, actually, it's karaoke. If you need me, I'll be over here doing karate, drinking sake, wearing my top hat and my cape made out of knowledge. I don't want to be that guy. Another thing I found out, though, when I went to Japan was my friend Judy comes up to me and she's like, oh my God, you're going to go to Japan? Oh, you're going to get so much action because Asian girls love white guys. And I got excited because I could use some action. And I assume by action she meant sex and not car chases or whatever. So even though it's a very generalized statement about Asian girls, I was like, all right, bring it on. So I go, and it turns out that Judy was not exactly correct. Because yes, Asian girls do like white guys, but they like white guys the same way that white guys like Asian girls. And that is, we like them if they're attractive. Yeah. It works the same way around. So I went there looking like this. I came back with my hymen intact, so too bad. This is something that I found out this year about living in Canada. When you turn 85 years old, you get a letter from the Premier. start drinking carrot juice, folks, because if you make it to 85, you get a Xeroxed letter from someone who doesn't know you. That's great. And then apparently when you turn 90 years old, you get a letter from the Prime Minister. Moving up. And as we all know, in a Commonwealth country, when you turn 100 years old, you get a letter from who? That's right, you get a letter from the Queen. But that's it. Like, once you get hit 100, you get a letter from the Queen. No more letters. You're done. It's like, you might as well die now. You got a letter from the Queen. You know? And I don't think that's fair. I think that if you turn 125, you should get a letter from God, you know? And it should just be a letter that says, you're late. Where have you been? I've been worried sick. Sincerely, the notorious G.O.D. Keep it real, because that's how God writes letters. I found this out, too. In Canada, this is a rumor that I heard, and so settle down. You don't even know what I'm about to say. I've heard this. This is a rumor that there is, going around the Canadian Mint, is that they're going to come out with a $5 coin. Ugh. I know! It makes Canadians so mad. We've got enough coins as it is. Like, I feel like that's the only thing that gets Canadians pissed off is like, oh, more coins. Ugh. We have no guns to shoot because we're mad, so it's like, I'm gonna write a letter. I'm so mad. Ugh. I don't know to who, but it's to myself. I am outraged, It's so ridiculous because we have enough coins, agreed? Like, we've got the loonie, that makes sense. There's a loon on it. Haha, cute. But then we have the toonie, which I believe is the only currency in the world named after a pun. Like, it's like they couldn't think of a name for it. So some 45-year-old soccer mom from Cape Breton was like, why don't we call it a toonie? Good one, Barbara. It's just stupid. So dumb. Toonie? And because we're obsessed with the suffix of uni for our dollar coins, what do you think we'll call the $5 coin? That's right, the foonie. The first thing that comes to your head, we're just a bunch of dumb kids at this point naming stuff. It's like the characters from Pee-wee's Playhouse, like Cherry, Flory, Foonie, we're stupid. The whole world is laughing at our money as it is. And how long is it gonna go on? Because I don't want to go into a bank in 20 years with a hundroonie the size of a manhole cover. Be like, yes, I'd like to break this. Shing, 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 shing. Could I please get a 15-toonie, a 20-toonie, a 10-noonie, a foonie, a toonie, and the rest in $1 bills, please. Because they'll bring back the $1 bill, because it's retro. Okay.